Hello everybody, here we are today and we're going to be talking about the Montreal Canadiens and why they're kind of in a weird spot right now. So before we start, please make sure to subscribe if you're new to me or hockey, whatever the case may be. That being said, let's get on into it. So yeah, the Canadiens are the NHL's most historic team if you go by Stanley Cup victories. They've got a lot of banners to back that up, and they are a side that has seen a ton of success in the 1900s. Not a ton of success lately, especially in terms of playoff success, and really lately there's not even been playoff appearances. So the past two seasons they finished last in the Atlantic Division, so 8th place both years, and they were expected to be a team again that probably wouldn't make the playoffs this year. However, things look kind of good compared to recent years, as they are 6th in the Atlantic and they have 43 points in 43 games played, meaning they're on pace for 82 points, which would be their best total over a full season since the 2018-19 campaign, meaning that this year could be the best year in some time. And it's kind of got me wondering where this team is and what they could be in the next few years, which is really the basis of this whole video. So I guess we can look at it in the aspect of the Canadiens could be good in a few years, and here's the reason why. So looking at what GM Kent Hughes said in a recent interview, I believe it was just with reporters, kind of a thing that the Canadiens ended up posting on YouTube and other various forms of social media. He said something along the lines of this, which is from TSN. I'm just going to paraphrase it and sum it up to say they have a lot of draft picks in the upcoming drafts, the next two. They don't necessarily think that they're going to have to use all of these picks in these upcoming drafts, and they could go out and make a trade for a younger player, which is really fun to see, because you could see maybe a team where their rebuild timeline is messed up and they want to trade a guy that is a good player but might not just fit their timeline because they're trying to figure out what they want to do. You could see a team where they have maybe a blue line guy or just a forward guy, whoever, where they aren't getting minutes because the team that they're on is a legitimate contender, and they say, you know, maybe we could get a good pick for later, which would set us up down the road. We just can't develop this player where we want in the moment. So there's kind of the good where they could get aggressive with a lot of these picks that they have and then end up getting a young, enticing player that could be NHL ready and maybe a top 4 defenseman for them or a top 6 forward, just whatever the case may be. That is something that you could say is good in terms of getting this team forward. Another thing is the fact that they've been playing in some close games. They have 4 losses over the past 7 games that have been 1-goal losses. 1-goal losses seem to have plagued this team in this season, and it is one of those deals where unfortunately you can get games back that you've already played. However, it is promising to see that you're in some games that maybe you could flip and be able to get 2 points instead of 1, or maybe in some cases none, where you lose 2-1 in regulation, whatever the case may be. That being said, got to get some victories in those close games and be able to come back. And that is good though, because we've seen some teams in recent years where they just get blown out and there's not a lot of close games. As for another good thing, this may not seem exactly like a good thing in terms of why the Canadiens could be better in the future, is injuries and really just avoiding them. So this year, injuries have plagued the Canadiens. You're looking at guys like Christian Dvorak, you're looking at guys like Kirby Dach, Alex Newhook, all of these individuals that were expected to play at least some role for the team this season. Dach's injury was painful, I think, for a lot of NHL fans, hoping that he would be able to stay healthy and be a key guy for the Habs. However, that's not the case at the moment, so fingers crossed if you're a Montreal fan that's seen a lot of players injured in recent years, that they could be able to stay healthy and have these younger players especially play a full season for them and kind of figure out where they want to go. Now, I do think Dvorak is a little bit older, so I can't say for sure what his plans are with this team going forward, but a team that deals with less injuries is going to be better off for it, probably. And for the Habs, you're hoping that this could be a step forward next season, especially where they can field a, you know, what they want to field in their roster and their lineup and get to see the results that they're hoping for. Now, on the flip side to where I think this team could be in a weird spot in the bad is you're looking at some of these names, again, like Dach, Dvorak, and Newhook. Are they going to be for sure guys that you can rely on to be part of this team? Are they going to be individuals that you see as part of your long-term future? Health is a big concern already. Dvorak's age could be a concern as well, but it's not even necessarily that. I think a big thing that we could be looking at here that is a weird thing happening with the Canadiens is whether or not that their core is good enough to be able to progress down the line and be a true contender, or at least a playoff regular. So I'm not saying one way or the other, but I have heard this argument that guys like Cole Caulfield, Nick Suzuki, etc., if these are their core guys and they just progress a little bit further, are they truly good enough, and will they be able to get this team on the right path for the future? Because Caulfield and Suzuki are fun players to watch for sure, but at the moment they're able to play, good hockey. Caulfield coming off of a really good season last year, where he was just scoring goals at will, and Suzuki known as this two-way guy that's really pivotal for the team, and they're still not making the playoffs. Now, granted, this is a team sport, but it does make you wonder that if some new help does arrive, but they're their best players and they aren't progressing too much, where exactly does this team stand in terms of their long-term plans? And then finally, with the negative, this isn't a for sure negative. This is just more of the side of argument, if you will, that their situation in net doesn't seem to be locked in perfectly. Of course, they've got Montembeault that is on a 3-year deal. It should be a 2-year deal now. Is he going to be part of the long-term plans? Is he even going to be the starter in the few seasons? Yes, they have a lot of prospects that are goalies that are younger. But at the moment, with goalies and time it takes to develop and whether or not they're even going to produce at the NHL level, you never really truly know exactly what's going to happen with these teams and with these goalies, and that is cause for concern. Now, again, a lot of people will look at this and say, well, they've got a lot of young, enticing prospects, and I do get that. However, I'm in the camp where I think Montreal has got to be very, very good in the next few years, whether they come with trades, whether they come with development, whatever the case may be, because I think over the course of these next 2 to 4 seasons, it's really going to set the path for whether or not Montreal is going to be able to take that step forward to get in the top half of their division to make the playoffs, and then hopefully, if you're a fan of the Quebec-based team, to be able to get back to winning Stanley Cups, something that they have not done in my lifetime, and something that at the moment, unfortunately, don't look like they're going to be able to do in the foreseeable future. So yeah, just a quick little video about where the Canadiens stand in my eyes, as they are at a path, a fork, if you will, and they have to be able to go down the right track, because if not, they could have good players. Again, not saying that some of these players are bad, but they may not be able to lift this team up and get them back to where the glory of the franchise was. So anyway, what are your thoughts on the Montreal Canadiens this season and for next season? Do you think that next year they'll be able to end up getting more health? Do you think they'll be able to play better 5-on-5? Do you think that their situation in net is already figured out? Do you think that a good chunk of their prospects will be, NHL caliber guys that not only are NHL caliber players, but again, top 6 guys, top 4 guys, whatever the case may be? Let me know down below in the comments. Also, please make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. Everybody stay safe. Have a great night. And you go love hockey, alright. Goodbye, Brigadiers and Brigadettes. This is your captain signing off. Have a great night.